So very recently, Fwolfy posted a trailer for Piggy Retros 4. And since Piggy Retros 4 Chapter 1 is coming out like really soon, this video will be going over the entire storyline of Piggy Retros up to Book 3. So let's go right into it. So, Retros 1. So we start off in Chapter 1, which honestly I kinda consider to be like a prologue. Honestly, the real story kinda, starts in the next chapter, and we meet the likes of the player, who makes his way through the first map to get to the Retros base. And once the player gets there, he meets Zizzy and joins Team Retros, and Zizzy gives him his first mission. And on this mission, him and Zizzy break into a facility to save a kid called Georgie. And wait a minute, Georgie was stuck in there for like 3 whole months. Was like, he surviving on apples. How many apples were there to let him, eat and survive? Did he eat all of them? Well, good thing that, the player and Zizzy saved him on time. So the three get back to base, and Zizzy explains to Georgie why they rescued him. Wait a minute, Zizzy's not the boss, there's a different one? Wait, who is the boss? Anyways, in chapter 3, the cabin, the player and Georgie go to the cabins to meet up with someone. Wait a second, is that Doggy? Was he in Team Retros even before the player? Oh yeah, I just want to mention, during the gameplay, the music is absolutely slapping, it's so good. Anyways, they meet up with Bunny, which is somebody Georgie already knows, and they decide to head back to base. But little did they know, they were being spied on by Rash, and Rash kidnapped them. The player woke up in a cell next to Georgie's cell, so then the player broke out of his cell and freed each of them. And the new faces, Pony. And so they make it out and head back to base. A few days later, the player and Pony are given the mission to go find survivors in the motel. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this chapter is mostly filler, and so I'm gonna skip this part. Anyways, they get to the motel area. But things will take a turn when they get ambushed by Mr. P and Rash. Quickly, Pony makes a distraction so the player can escape, and the player escapes through the forest while being chased by Mr. P. Pony tried to escape, but Pony got captured by Rash. And then Rash made Pony drink a certain potion. Later on, the group managed to find where Pony was being held. The group managed to find Pony, but something was wrong. Pony wasn't feeling too well. Zizzy overhears their conversation and decides to take them to the hospital. So the group bring Pony to the hospital, and wait a second, is that Doggy? So he's not just a police officer, he's a doctor as well? So anyways, Doggy confirms that Pony is infected. But before Pony turns, he explains that Rash is launching a nuke at Survivor Island. Then eventually, Pony turns infected. Now that Pony was gone, all the group knew that they needed to do was to stop Rash before he launched that nuke onto Survivor Island. Oh, but first of all, they had to get past a semi-filler chapter. Anyways, the group gets on the boat. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Georgie's acting kinda weird. Can he, talk to hallucinations? I'm surprised they didn't just leave him there. Wait a second, Georgie was actually right? Also, Budgie is there. Anyways, you know the drill. The player breaks out of the cell, and the group escapes. And it's almost like Budgie completely forgot that they were even there, because, they literally used the ship to get to where Rash even, is. Anyways, they get to the plant. They find Rash, and then they fight him for a bit. And then Rash explains his backstory and why he wanted to nuke Survivor Island, and then realized he was the bad guy, and I guess left. So yeah, that is Piggy Retros 1. Honestly, that's a pretty simple storyline, but honestly, I like it. Okay, now I'm gonna go over Piggy Retros 2. Oh yeah, and by the way, the first 2 chapters are literally filler chapters. The first chapter is the player in, literally a dream, and he thinks Pony is alive, but he wakes up and Pony's still not. But the second one is the player and Bunny literally go mining for coal. Alright. Anyways, chapter 3, the asylum. So Zizzy brings the player to an asylum to meet someone who knows where the cure is. Anyways, they get to the asylum and find Raze. And Raze isn't interested in helping them. so he escapes. Anyways, the player follows Raze through the sewers, and then the player eventually catches up to Raze, but Raze tricks the player and basically escapes. The player gets back up to the surface and finds Zizzy. So the player and Zizzy look around the pot to find Raze, and they found Raze, but Raze kidnaps them. And then the player wakes up inside of a cell, and someone who appears to be in Raze's team goes up to his cell and is called, Damien, and he offers to let them out if they do, a deal with him. Anyways, the player decides to trust Damien, and Damien lets him out of his cell. Oh, and also it turns out that the other members of Team Retros were also captured, so the player goes round and frees them. Anyways, the player finds a room with a cell, and Raze traps him in the cell. Anyways, Raze is about to send an infected out, into the cell to kill the player, but then Zizzy comes in and saves the player. And the group gets back to base. Oh, what is that I hear? The base is under attack? Dude, this literally happens to, every single safe play. Anyways, Doggy wakes the player up, and the group escape. Wait, hold on a second. Did Rash actually join Team Retros after Chapter 12? Anyways, the group go and find Raze. Oh, wait a second. The car ran out of gas? Let's do a filler chapter. And then eventually, they get to an oil rig, which is, I guess, where Raze is. Anyways, they manage to avoid Pandy. Anyways, they get into the room that Raze is in. And this time, the player really isn't fooling around. He literally pulls out a gun on Raze, forcing Raze to tell the cure, where the cure is. So Raze basically tells him where the cure is. Raze says that Felix has it. So they send Doggy and Damien to go find Felix. Meanwhile, Felix tells Billy and a certain other person to go into another room and make a certain ambush. Meanwhile, Damien and Doggy go through the alleys and search for Felix, and then they find him. Holy crap, this took a really dark turn. Anyway, Damien demands that Felix hand over the cure, but Felix declines. Meanwhile, the rest of the group arrive at an institute, so they can borrow a helicopter, and they meet Crove. And Crove actually lets them use the helicopter. Anyways, meanwhile, Damien and Doggy are fighting Felix. And then they get ambushed and— Wait, is that Pony? So anyways, that is book 2. Honestly, I think it's a decent one. Honestly, it does have quite a few weak chapters that are quite filler. But there are quite a few chapters that are quite good, and they're great, honestly, and yeah. Alright, let's talk about book 3. Oh jeez, this is gonna be a long one. Oh yeah, and also, I'm also gonna get this out of the way. Raze cured Pony and convinced Pony to join Raze's group. And the reason I left that out of Retros 2 is because I couldn't find the original scene of that. Anyways, let's begin. Pony shoots Felix to let Damien and Doggy escape. But Pony gets captured, and Billy chases them through the rooftops. Luckily, they manage to escape, and they meet up with the rest of the group. And then, Doggy and Damien explain that Pony is alive. The rest of the group are skeptical, and, Damien and Doggy explain that, Pony shot Felix, so they have to get a cure, some other way. So, then they go back to base. A few days later, the group decide to head out and go find some food and supplies. So once they get to the streets area, Zizzy says that they need to get to the subway. So the player and Bonnie go and, clear the path and open, the subway. Once the group gets into the metro, they find Mimi, who helps them get onto the train. Once they get on the train, they decide to bring Mimi with them. So once they arrive, Zizzy says they need to get through a restaurant to get to where the supplies are. They also meet Baron, a former Raze member, who joins their team. Anyway, they get to the mall, and they find supplies. But just as they were about to head back, they heard a really strange noise. They go to check it out, and they find Daisy, who is corrupted by the Lord, also known as Mr. Stitchy. And then the player fights the Lord, and then Mr. Stitchy says if the player gives his soul, he'll let Daisy's soul go. And the player decides to save Daisy and basically joins the insolence. And the group get back to base where Damien is. A little bit later, the group find out that Pony is being held captive in a volcano, so they go and save him. But wait, there's someone else around here. So they free the other survivor, and the other survivor is called Gerald, who worked with Ray's. And so they get back to base. By the way, Gerald actually has a friend who knows where the cure is, so they need to get to that friend of Gerald's. But oh no, the helicopter doesn't work. We're gonna have to fix it. And oh god, is that Willow? Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, this is gonna be a really controversial opinion, which I pretty much expressed before. Willow is my least favorite character. I know this is going to be really controversial because Willow is one of the most... no, Willow is the most overrated characters in the entire series. Anyways, they go and get what they need for the helicopter. But while doing it, the player blacks out and wakes up in a dark room with Mr. And Mr. Stitchy makes the player realize that most of the, in fact, the characters with glowing eyes and that can talk, that did bad things, didn't want to do those bad things because they were being controlled by Mr. Stitchy. And then the player wakes up back at base. Anyways, the group arrive where they need to go. Anyways, Gerald and the player go through the shrine. Anyways, they get to where they need to... Oh my god, is that Budgie? Anyway, Budgie explains that he didn't really want to kidnap him, and the Lord was basically controlling him. And then Budgie kidnaps Gerald because Budgie is being controlled by the Lord. Anyway, they fight Budgie and save Fwolfy. And then Baron shoots Budgie, making Budgie no longer hear whispers, basically making her back to normal. And Budgie shows them where the cure is. Anyways, you know the drill. The player goes through the outpost. And finally, they finally find the cure room. But wait, something strange. What is Felix doing here? Well, it turns out that Felix, I guess, is the good guy now. Because, he is. Anyways, Felix explains him and Ray's backstory. And then the Lord tries to take over the player's body. But the player manages to escape the nightmare realm. And it turns out that Felix wasn't even there. He hallucinated Felix and all the other gods. Anyways, they go to head out of the outpost with the cure. But then... Budgie is dead. Wow. Just wow. All I can really say is that was insane. Anyways, I would appreciate it if you could drop a like and subscribe. This video took so long to make. It was so stress-inducing to do this video. So yeah guys, bye.